pleasure to speak with Jun-His from Oranssi Pazuzu. Good to see you in Krakow. Do you enjoy your time here?
Yeah, we've only been here for the sound check now, but I've been to Krakow a few times. Great city, and the venue seems to be really good.
It's nice to hear that. You're probably tired of hearing questions like this, but we want to ask you about the name of your band. Is it taken from horror classic The Exorcist, or perhaps you're interested in myths, Babylonian myths?
Yeah, it's both actually, and the name Pazuzu and color orange, which Oranssi means, is just the color represents the kind of the psychedelic side of the music and kind of the colorful side. So it's black Pazuzu would be just kind of, it wouldn't tell enough about the music.
And what's the message behind your last album itself? Are the vocals important, or are there just another type of the instrument?
Well, yeah, the message kind of, if there is one, goes kind of deeper also than in just in lyrics, let's say, or just in the vocals. It's the whole kind of idea, or let's say loose concept in the album is to kind of resonate to other people and have them kind of resonating through our music, and also kind of finding new portals, new thought patterns in your head, hopefully, and kind of work as a sort of hopefully psychological mirror that kind of you can reflect your own view of life, your own interpretation of the reality through the music, hopefully. And at least that's how some music that I kind of find psychological, they work that way for me.
So is your music inspired by your personal experiences, or the themes are just abstract, surrealistic?
I think art, for me, and how I perceive other people's art as well, I find them kind of reflections through individuals of the reality they're surrounded by, and the consciousness, what kind of interpretation you have for things around you. And of course, life is pretty abstract already, and to kind of just try to tell something from your, how you see things, how you feel things, especially how you feel things, and how you kind of perceive this abstract, absurd thing we call life and universe, reality, whatever.
And the next question is somehow connected to the previous one. You've made a quite controversial choice, because you are performing using your national language. Don't you think it would be easier to maybe promote, to reach the audience, if you would use English?
Maybe, but since atmosphere is the most important thing for our music, and the kind of feel that we put behind it, and the kind of emotion, for me to kind of understand our lyrics and to fit them in the music, so that they have several layers of meanings for me, so they're not just one, let's say, story or whatever, so that they will mean more to me. I will be able to put more emotion into the vocals, and through that kind of hopefully add more to the atmosphere, and also for the listeners to kind of see that, okay, there's a lot emotion, lot atmosphere behind this. If we would do it in English, I think, although we know okay English, but if it goes like really philosophical, the lyrics or whatever, I couldn't understand them in so many layers that I can do with my native language. So that's why our bass player Ontto does the lyrics, and I interpret them in my own way and push what I feel about them to the music, vocal-wise.
We have found out via Google Translate that the title of your last album means the vibrator. But but we are aware that we shouldn't trust the internet and that kind of translators 100%. So what does it mean originally?
Yeah, I guess the closest translation is resonator, resonation, with which resonator is pretty close. But yeah, vibrator is also, and we were aware that this this would pop up at some point, like when we thought of the name. But still, it's kind of, you could think it as värähtelijä is kind of, you can think it as sound waves or something resonating, and in this case it just like also hopefully resonates to, like I talked earlier, to listeners, like philosophical, in like psychological level as well.
You have just recently posted your first music video. Why now? Why did you decide that now is this time?
Yeah, it felt that we found a guy who we trusted to do an interpretation of our music and to make a video that is different from a lot of other videos that has been before, and to it be kind of abstract, but also like the music to evoke kind of this kind of emotion that you have to concentrate, and then kind of it sucks you in, hopefully same way as the music, and we felt that this guy could do it that way, and I think he did really good job, and had really good ideas after us discussing together about some themes. So we've been wanting to make a music video for quite a long time, but it just now it was possible and it felt right, and also to have a proper kind of guy and idea for the music video, because I really hate all sorts of lyric videos that are going on these days. I think they're just being lazy.
So we could say there is no particular story behind the video, it's just the director's interpretation of your music, right?
Yeah, I guess there I could reveal the kind of loose idea that is in that video. It's well, there's all sorts of things happening, but there's a kind of a higher level of hierarchy going on there, and you have a kind of the high point of, let's say, Illuminati or whatever on the top, and then kind of normal people go through that, seeing what happens, and go through that labyrinth kind of realizing what is around you, and then eventually losing hope kind of in the whole, let's say, humanity, and becoming one yourself, and in the end there's some like blood dripping after these two people are sitting in the table, and some blood dripping to the trees. My interpretation, I'm not sure if it's correct because I haven't asked the director, but I feel that the main character, the girl, is taking the place of the one on top of the hierarchy and just becoming emotionless bastard himself.
So you had no influence on the final outcome, he was absolutely free to go? Yeah. We discussed with him about the album and about the song, and he had already some ideas, like smaller details, and then he made it was his work of art after hearing our views of the album. So now I'd like to ask about the sound of your new record. I'd say there's a significant difference between how sounds your last album and your previous work, in the means not only of songwriting but also production, sound.
Yeah.
Is it the part of your natural progress as the musicians, or you intentionally were looking for something else?
Yeah, we always, of course, try to push things further or in slightly different direction, so that we have a new kind of idea for each album. We were doing a lot of demos, like proper demos of the songs, because we had the chance to do that now on this album in our rehearsal place. Everything is mic'd all the time, and we can just do demos in every rehearsal, and kind of we can work already on some sketches of the sound in that point, and make kind of rough mixes on that. then Julius, of course, the guy who did the kind of sound production in that, we discussed with him and said that we want to have a brave album that can go like strongly to somewhere and to, of course, breathe, but at the same time you can do bold decisions about stuff. And of course we explained all sorts of weird stuff that usually sound producers and guys mixing albums are not so much want to hear. We were talking about quite abstract things like it needs to sound that it's a starry sky, panorama, and something celestial phenomenal ignites there, and then something ignites there in other place, but still everything is, you can see everything at the same time or separately, so that you can examine things as a whole or as a different layers, instruments or whatever. So he actually didn't say that, what the fuck are you talking about? He was like, okay, yeah, I think I get it. And then he did it, and when I heard it, like some of the early mixes, I was like, okay, he actually managed to do that. I didn't kind of believe or think that he would get it so nicely done there. So yeah, it was a process, but this time we were more sure than ever what kind of sounding album we wanna achieve.
So what's the usual way of composing in Oranssi Pazuzu?
We do a lot of jamming. Sometimes we just jam whatever. Sometimes we have we record, of course, these jams because that's important to use them afterwards. And sometimes we have a loose, abstract idea of some kind of idea for a riff, for a song, for a drama curve of song, and then we just put, let's say, the notes there on the place. But we already had the idea what kind of thing it is. So again, there we jam the thing, and just everyone think about the same goal. And then sometimes we have a riff that me or Onto, for example, have composed at home. But then we also jam that and maybe change even some stuff when we get kind of because we have quite a lot of happening all at once in the songs. So I can't see any other way of getting the palette together than just like jamming. But I like doing different kinds of jamming. Like in movies, you can choose to do a black and white movie. In jamming, you can also have idea that let's limit something. Let's not use this and this color and just use these ones, and then make a jam out of that. For example, that kind of ideas are really interesting to try to put in the music.
With your previous albums, you've been using covers that are picturesque, somehow surreal and abstract. And with your last album, you've chosen somehow unusual picture. What is the idea behind it?
We've had the pleasure to work with several really good artists in the past, like who have done like really cool and graphical psychedelic covers. But since we want to try different things, we kind of had the idea for a really long time that we want to have a photo cover and to have it kind of a scene from a reality, but with something magical going on in that moment of reality, which is gone immediately after the picture is taken. So that was kind of the idea, to have that. And actually we managed to find pictures by Andrea Petrovikova, a photographer from Prague, who had taken live pictures from us, and all of those pictures in the cover are from live pictures that just happened to be somehow something we liked, and something we felt that for, let's say, the front cover, I think it kind of makes a tunnel of some sort kind of hairy tunnel. Sounds fucking pervert already, but it kind of, it is a moment that is gone immediately after the shoot of the photo. So yeah, that's kind of the story.
What bands could you share as your favorite when we speak, for example, about the space rock or psychedelic music?
I've been really into Swans for years now. I don't know if it's exactly psychedelic, but it's very strong music, atmosphere-wise. And then, of course, I'm really into some electronic music, which I think it can be really psychedelic times. And then some shoegaze stuff. I listen to stuff like beach house nowadays. It's really pop stuff, but with some kind of also really strong atmosphere. I think the psychedelia for me is more and more becoming kind of the really strong certain kind of atmosphere that you can immediately dive into and be in that kind of imaginary world or whatever, or kind of to perceive things differently and feel that time even freezes and stuff like that. And like I said, but what else have I listened to recently? Well, of course, some like 70s stuff. King Crimson is important for me. I still listen to a lot of that stuff from time to time. Yeah, at least those. And I think black metal can be really psychedelic as well, into certain mind state. Burzum, for example, I find it very psychedelic.
And could you pick a favorite album from the 2015, or a couple of albums?
I had so many projects going on with music that I barely got to listen to stuff. Let's see what came out last year. I don't know. I honestly don't know if I've listened to a lot of music, because we had so much to do with the Pazuzu album, and I had some other projects going on, and I'm really bad at listening to music when I have a lot of things going on, because then when I listen to the music, then I start thinking about the projects, and because they're not done yet. But now I have to listen to some music again because I don't have the recording process going on.
Are there any specific bands from Finland you would recommend for a Polish listener?
I guess you guys already know, for example, Beherit. Yeah. And then one of our favorite bands, our band wouldn't exist without Circle. It's this kind of psychedelic, repetitive stuff, but I especially like the old Circle, let's say from the 2000 to 2005, that area. It's really hypnotic stuff. One of our definitely favorite bands. Let's see, then a band called Domovoid is great, from the same area. Darkwood Horizon for our friends as well. And let's see, Chiron Irse, it's a bit proggier stuff. Mr. Peter Hayden is great as well. Yeah, at least those. I mainly listen to a lot of bands from our friends, because it's so cool to kind of draw influences from them, because you actually know them and can discuss with them about philosophy of making music, and that's really inspiring to like get the whole package and not just hear the album.
How did it happen that in this tour you're playing with Fleshworld? How do you like them, and how do you like the local bands that played with you during this tour?
The promoter set them up, and I checked some of them bands in advance, like a few songs, and everything sounds really good. And I like that the lineup is varied enough. So let's say there's some more kind of harsher black metal stuff, and then some kind of post metal thing going on, like with Fleshworld more, and then us. It's I always like a varied lineup, and looking forward to hear Outre was the band tonight. Yeah, looking forward hearing that as well, because that's the one that I don't think I heard like from internet previously.
And the last question, that big question that everybody must answer.
Don't take it too seriously though.
Hawkwind or Darkthrone? What would you choose?
As you mean, like what do I prefer to listen, or what is closer to our music, or what?
In general.
I'm gonna say Hawkwind, this one, because it shares so much similar to us, in a sense that it's psychedelic and it's aggressive because of Lemmy, I guess, at the same time. Kind of other guys hippies, Lemmy doing speed and being fucking crazy, like and that kind of combo of things, and that's our combo as well. Hippies that have some issues.
Okay, thank you for the interview, and enjoy your time here in Poland, and good luck on stage.
Yeah, thank you.